Hey, what's up guys? My name is Anshul and today in this video, let us briefly talk about this iOS 19 update, the leaks and rumors about this software update that we will see by the September of the year 2025 or 3 months before in a form of the beta update. But I'm excited about this update because we have got some interesting leaks and rumors from John from the FTP Tech channel, and I think so that this is one of the most reliable sources that we can really count on. And because I can see that this new camera UI design, it looks a bit more like what we have seen with the recent updates on the Google devices, especially the camera UI redesign that we started to see with the Google Pixel 8 series. I think so that the idea is very similar, and that is why that I just wanted to make this video and share my thoughts with you. Now the number one thing is again the new camera UI design, and I think so that it is much more like the Google Pixel devices. And the reason that why I say is that just because of this new design on this camera UI that allows you to switch between the settings of the photos or the video mode on this camera application, and that is very similar on the Google devices. It is not just about this toggle to switch between the video mode or maybe the photograph mode and switch between different settings, but also the way that you can really see these drop downs coming from the top of this windows on this iPhone, and then to be able to adjust different settings. It is also a very similar implementation as what we can see on the Google Pixel 8 and the Google Pixel 9, and that is particularly not very impressive because I just wanted Apple to innovate over here and bring something that is different and something that we have not seen. Now the thing is that it is just not about this camera design as what this YouTube channel FTP Tech suggests. He also suggested that we can see a major redesign in the terms of the iOS 19 as well, and again it will be looking a bit more like Vision OS. You will see the rounded icons everywhere on the home screen. You can also customize the widgets as we can already see on the iOS 18 update, but that is not something that we want to see. It would be way more like all these Android smartphones are able to do from a long time now. The rounded icons were introduced with the Google smartphones, and seeing the similar thing on these Apple iPhones, it would not be just an implementation or a copy of what this Vision OS is already able to do, but it is basically what these Android smartphones have always been. And I think so that with these rounded icons, Apple just loses its appeal on how the iOS devices it used to feel in the past. And with this happening, I think so that there will be no major difference between the Android smartphones and the Apple smartphones. That is not again something that a lot of Apple loyal fans would just want to see on the Apple devices. Now keep in mind that this rounded icon is something that might not really be true, and this is not something that we might actually see ending up on the iOS 19 update. Maybe it is something that is planned for the future release on the iPhones, but I think so the camera UI is one thing that would definitely be updated because John from FTP, he does have an actual clip of how this a new camera UI it does work, and he was just able to imitate the very exact thing. Maybe he used something like Figma to redraw the entire set of the elements to be able to make an implementation that how this thing would work like. But I think so it is a crazy idea, and this is not something again that Apple should be doing. Even though it is a cleaner look, I think so Apple should just change a few other things on how this thing works, or maybe just create a separate menu somewhere to be able to switch between the photos and videos or something. I just do not know, but I think so that it is a straight copy from what the Android smartphones have been able to do from the longest time, and Apple just needs to innovate and make the UI a bit more better and a bit more cleaner in my opinion. Now the thing is that we did not have a lot of good experience with the iOS 18 update. In fact, I think so with this iOS 18, this iPhone 16 series is one of the most buggy devices that I have seen in my lifetime. In fact, it is more buggy than most of the Google smartphones that I had seen in the past, and in fact a lot of times I'm not even able to open an application. It just freezes, it just stutters, the refresh rate is not constant, I'm not even able to open an application sometimes, and sometimes there is a big drop in the terms of the network connectivity on these devices, or maybe I cannot even use the camera control button, and also the Siri it does switch to the older version, and I just do not know what is the reason behind that thing. It says that there is a mismatch between the language and the country region that has been selected on this Apple Intelligence thing, but that is not the case. It somehow it just defaults back to something that I just do not like. So yes, there have been a lot of bugs on this iOS 18 update, but I just do not want Apple to innovate a lot. I just want Apple to keep the things the very same way that they are, just to not make a major rehaul in the terms of the design on the iOS 19. In fact, they should just polish and iron out all the issues that they had with the iOS 18 update and just make the things better on this iOS 19. Now, one more thing that I just lastly want to mention over here is that the last time when we saw a major overhaul in the terms of how this iOS thing it looks and feel it was during the time of the iOS 7 launch, and it had been again a very long time when we saw a major overhaul, except for I think so the iOS 18 thing. It does bring a lot of customizations, but those are just moving the icons around and changing the colors. But the overall look at the feel of the device, it does look very similar to what we already had since the start of the iOS 7 update. So yes, I think so that Apple should give a major overhaul to how this iOS thing looks, but I do not think so that iOS 19 is the perfect move, because I think so Apple should first iron out all the issues and the difficulties that they're getting with the iOS 18 thing. They should iron everything out on the iOS 19 update, and then they should bring some kind of major overhaul to the looks of this device. And well, now with that said, that was all that what I wanted to share in this video, but do let me know in the comment sections below that if Apple really changes the design on their iOS 19 update, would you rather buy the iPhone 17 series, or would you switch to something like the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra or the Google Pixel 10 with the rounded icons, just the way the Android smartphones has always been? Do let me know in the comment sections below. My name is Anshul. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.